Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2. A couple of people asked for Riftborn on in the comments of the last video. We haven't done Riftborn in a while, and I'm curious how different they will feel with the better grasp that we have of the population systems. Riftborn are not born from food, you have to build them, which means that the moment you pick up some minor faction population, they'll start being born through all of your natural growth processes. And while Riftborn population is very powerful, it also gets pretty expensive as you build more of it in a system. So I'm curious, I just don't really know what proper population optimization looks like with these guys. So let's take a dive on that. Also, since we've already done them in the series, we don't really need to read all their quest text and watch the video and everything, but we're still going to watch this intro video because it is definitely my favorite of them. I just really like... I like all of the music in the game, but I really like the Riftborn theme, a lot. I don't know what it is about it, but... I stopped talking because I thought we were just about done, and then the loading bar backed up. Caught me off guard a little bit. And there we go.
Ours was a pristine universe. We knew nothing of your endless, your dust. Until the rift ripped a path between our realities, injecting a blight that spread like poison. Our cosmos of order and balance was shattered forever. Dying, corrupted, and consumed. We had no choice. We are outcasts in the chaos that is your universe, willing to do anything to save our own.
It's a tall order, saving the universe. We're not really, not really all that well suited to it. Okay, so we started close enough to another system to see it immediately. What do we have here? Desert, Ash, Monsoon, Mediterranean. So, in case... it's been quite a while since we did Riftborn. In case you're not familiar with the thing that the Riftborn do, first of all, you may have noticed there from that zoom in that they have a pretty unusual set of settling circumstances. We can settle Ash and Desert right away at the beginning of the game. All of our settling texts are different. Distant settling texts are more like Boreal and Tundra. Things that, have a lot of life on them. Jungle is way up here. Over here you have Terran. So we much prefer sterile worlds. Low life planets as much as possible. So we started with a unit of Epistis. We have -1 movement point on our ships. We really don't care for fertile worlds, and we love sterile worlds. And we started with plasma metallurgy and xenobiology, both really great technologies, and then a guaranteed titanium and hyperium source on our home planet. Because we didn't grow up here, right? The big ship that you saw in the cinematic found a good world, and we settled there. So, of course, we found one that had resources. So, I don't really have a victory condition in mind here. We're gonna just sort of feel it out, like we did last game. Whatever comes to us, comes to us. In this case, I think it's a little less obvious what we will end up doing. Except for this beginning part, which I always do the same way. I don't know if this is necessarily the best way, but it seems like a very good thing to do, to boost your hero early through exploration. I guess I haven't really done the math on the amount of XP that you would get through the first 8 turns through being attached to a system and building things in the system, but it's gotta be less, right? I guess I should actually do that math at some point. Alright, let's reveal all of the things. So we have access to a bunch of Dark Glitter and Red Sang. Do we have a population boost as these guys? We don't. I thought it might be the case that we wouldn't, since we don't naturally grow, but I thought they still might give us the opportunity to spend a resource in order to double our outputs. That said, our outputs are very good already, so I can see why they might not want to do that. And our Epistis population is boosted with a resource that we won't even be able to see for quite a long time. Okay, so the Shadow here has 5 movement. Our hero ship is bringing us down. Let's throw another engine in there, and then also one of these. So yeah, we discovered Dark Glitter and also Eden Incense. You know, we started with quite a bit of dust at least. We can afford to refresh our probes a couple of times if we need to. I think we should probably put that to good use and just really send probes in every direction. We're pretty close to the center here. So let's see if we can reveal ourselves some minor factions. My experience with these spiral galaxies has been that there's usually a ton of minor faction stuff going on in the middle of the galaxy. Oh hey, we have another slot here. Do I want more probes, or do I want... No, I probably want more probes. I'm thinking that applying another engine here would mean that we have to apply another engine to the hero ship to get full value out of it. Although this thing is only moving 5 per turn, putting another engine in would give us 6 movement on the fleet as a whole. No, let's go probe heavy. We're gonna get vision. Hopefully these star lanes will turn out not to be too terribly long. Alright, so we have some distance to cover. I think we're probably just going to go ahead and send our colony ship down there. You know, it has two revealed resources already, 2 systems that we can already colonize. I think that's fine. So we may as well do another refresh, because it's not going to be very expensive, and we have a ton of dust to start with. We'll just swap these. There really ought to just be a button you can press that refreshes your probes whenever you're at a friendly system. Because it feels a little strange, like, it feels a little hacky doing it the way we are doing it, but it's got to be a pretty common desire, right? And we'll go ahead and fire a probe through this as well. Okay, so we should get a lot of vision over these next couple of turns. We'll do one more refresh. Okay, so when we leave the system, we will have enough probes to explore whatever we find. This should be pretty good for our hero. So, because we don't operate on food at all, we don't have to use food ships to settle new systems, which means we aren't reducing growth in the home system by settling right away. I definitely want to put down on this Ash World 012-4. That's pretty good for us. And of course it's sterile, so lots and lots of approval. The Riftborn love a good superheated giant ball of ash. So we build our colonies out of industry rather than food. And we spend titanium and hyperium to accelerate them. So we're just going to have to let this go at the rate that it goes at. And here, drone network's slightly less important than usual because we're not getting any value out of the 10 food. And in fact, I think just going to... I was going to say going to interplanetary transport network makes a lot of sense. But, right, 280 industry is actually a lot at this moment in the game. You know what else makes a lot of sense is building population. Because again, we're looking at very, very strong outputs from this population unit. The Epistis are going to be growing naturally over time, but slowly, because we don't have a lot of food. I guess the question is, do I want to try to encourage them? Or would I rather stick with just building building Riftborn? Words. I guess the 10 industry we're going to get from this for 160. Yeah, it makes sense to build this. This encourages Epistis growth a little bit, which is maybe not great. Maybe, you know, I probably do want to stick to being mostly Riftborn. Speaking of mostly Riftborn, actually, our population boosts. More industrialist will, 15% industry, and finally, traveling through wormholes only consumes half of your movement. This one doesn't seem super great. Yeah, I think we want to focus on Riftborn population. It's really powerful, but the cost of building a unit of Riftborn population is based on the amount of Riftborn population you already have in the system, I think. I guess it might be based on just the number of total population you have in a system. I'm not sure, but the point is, eventually it will get very expensive to build them in each system, so we'll have to feel it out a little more carefully. And finally, we are a republic, so we do not have access to Early Cram Exam Act. But we do have access to some other stuff, like, I think we should probably do this. Plus 15 industry on that outpost is going to make it settle a lot faster. Yeah, it takes 5 turns off. And then we'll get a nice approval boost when it finishes. And we don't have xenolinguistics, and we absolutely should pick up xenolinguistics because we have titanium on our homeworld, plus, obviously, early game industry is the best resource. It's right up there with late game industry. Wow. Psychagogia is a food-heavy world, isn't it? Okay. Food and I think... Okay, not so much influence. There's one of the unique planets is just like a ton of food and a ton of influence. This one's more like food science. Not a bad find. Place where we're definitely going to want to grow an organic population. Okay, well... I think I'm going to go ahead and move my scout ship down here, even though there's nothing new here to see, just so we can get some more XP on this hero. And some stuff to explore. So 10 XP on our ships, including the hero ship. We've discovered some Aurora waves, which are not actually great. And... oh good, rich soil on the Ash Planet. I mean, I guess... it's not like a bad thing, but it's not really that helpful for us. So obviously we're going to end up with a ton of industry. I wonder... is it possible... it's not possible from this screen to see the super high-level laws. I believe there is an extremely valuable law at the top of the industrialist party. It just gives you a huge amount of industry output. I wonder if it might be worth it to us to pursue a government change early, force a bunch of elections, and try to get that law unlocked earlier than it would normally come. Because it's something like plus 6 industry per citizen or something. It's a very, very large value. Okay, a minor faction that we can maybe make friends with. A reduction in terraformation costs. That's interesting. Yeah, you know, the sowers might be good friends. Alright, we're gonna have to put some effort into that. Do they have... they have 2 curiosities. Alright, well, let's grab this one first. Because it's close. But yeah, after we finish xenolinguistics, let's get off-world agribusiness and see if we can't convince them to join up. They're basically robots too. We should have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of commonality there. XP on ships and strange fossils. Okay. Alright, well, I like all this influence we're finding early. If we are going to try to make a nice early friendship happen, this is going to be important currency for that. Oh, hold on. We should make our objective choice first, in case this influences anything. I don't think it will. Explore curiosities with a hero of level 3 or higher. This is actually not something that's super easy to do, because by the time our hero's level 3, we want to be reassigning them back to the system. Have a system with 9 improvements in total. Completely trivial. Very easy. Reach 50 points in relations with 2 minor civilizations. I don't know how this tracks, actually. It's possible that this requires you to have 50 points in relations with 2 minor civilizations at the same time. Meaning that if you reach 50 with one civ, and then take their quest, and then assimilate them, they no longer count toward this. So this might be a little awkward to get, and also it has the same reward as Strengthen. Like, this is free. Right, we will absolutely do this no matter what. So we may as well take the easy way out here. So this right now is only going to be 10 industry. And it costs more than making a point of population. This right now would be 12, and it costs a little bit more than making a point of population. It is probably better for us to pick up this and then do our first build. Yeah, and then this will increase the industry output of every population following. We can probably try to pick up the tundra settling tech so that all of our population is benefiting from interplanetary transport for quite a long time. Unfortunately, even though we did put some engines in our ships to make sure that we weren't holding ourselves back unnecessarily, it's still going to take forever to get to Acellus because slow ships. That -1 movement point trait is one of the more painful negative traits to have to deal with, I think. Okay, those were some good probes. We learned a lot. For one thing, we learned that we are not near anything in the center of the galaxy. We're going to get off-world agribusiness just before we arrive, so we'll be able to praise them a bunch of times and then search the curiosities, and that should get us friendly enough to see what they want from us pretty quickly. So if we were going to try to force some early election shenanigans, we definitely want to keep researching in the quadrant that we're currently researching in. We need to secure ourselves a source of influence that we can afford to initiate a change of government, and we need that technology that allows us to do that. Fortunately, the technology that lets you change your government is the same one that lets you build that influence-producing building. Okay, so 4 per turn, plus another 2 from this, so zoomed in a little bit too far there. Okay, that's fine. Red Zang and Dark Glitter, neither one of those are things I'm super excited about. But, you know, you can always sell them. Alright, so we've got 6 approval per turn. Soon we will hit the threshold where we can get their quest. Let's try to plan this route a little bit. If we're going to try some fancy stuff, we have to get this. Which means picking up, honestly, probably Xenology. Because we're going to need the Spin Project to start banking influence. And then botanical scanning has lower value for us than it does for a lot of factions. And we're still going to need to grow some of our systems naturally. Denark University is not... It's a fine building, it's just kind of awkward to build. It's a little expensive. 3,120 influence at this point in the game is a pretty serious amount. And the ability to colonize atolls is fine, except that I don't think we see any yet. So maybe we just get ships? I mean, we'll probably use them, right? It's unlikely to be a waste. I guess, should we pick up another science building, or... What's our approval level at right now? Not super high. So eukaryotic sap is not bad. Our homeworld's actually not sterile. We could fix that with some terraforming, probably. Yeah, you know what, I think this plan is okay for now. We're not going to be able to rush a change of government before the first election or anything, but a modified version of the thing we discovered we could do before might well lead to us having more industry through the mid-game. We just have to make sure that we have the influence necessary to back it up. Also, what kind of world is Psychagoja? It's a monsoon. Alright. We're not going to be super happy there, but it's worth picking up. Alright, well, this has been pretty productive for our hero. Halfway through level 3 already. So I guess we got to level 3 pretty quickly. We totally would have gotten the other choice for our quest. You know, this is a bit of a programmer failing here. I don't think of level 3 as what happens when you've gained 2 levels. I think of level 3 as where you are when you've gained 3 levels, like you start on level 0, right? That is not the way it works in any game ever, but I have too much computer science in my brain to not start counting at 0. Alright, here's a bunch of extra industry to speed things up a little bit. And actually, I didn't look at... Okay, our base starting skill was 10 science per anomaly. Not great here, right? I guess there's an anomaly here. We really do need to pick this up. Where is the tundra colonization tech with these guys? Is it eukaryotic sap? It is. Okay. You know what? Let's throw that at the beginning of the queue. That's a pretty good tech, then. This is a pretty great tech, actually, for us. Oh, and Monsoon. We definitely already saw Monsoon, but I've forgotten where. What am I doing? Monsoon is over here with Forest. And totally normal luxuries lottery. I probably want to make an effort to get this. I'm a little worried that I'm delaying this too much, but we are going to continue to gain science. This goes second? No, I probably want to try to pick up that planet soon, right? Like, we need to make the Geist pretty soon. I'm going to do this. Okay, we're going to put the Geist down before we expand our population anymore. We're going to go grab Arcturus via the planet that we can currently colonize, which is a sterile planet. Yeah, 4614. That's pretty good. And then we'll expand to Psychagogia eventually. Not eventually, soon. Just not immediately. Alright, what is this system here? We have a Mediterranean world with a volcano. 711.5. Wow. This would be a good place to grow an organic population as well. Alright. Alright, so Gobris is ours, and let's get... Actually, the second point of Riftborn population is even cheaper than drone networks, so we're definitely building that first. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. Hopefully the star lane isn't too long, because I'd like to meet them as soon as possible. Although I guess we need to have, what, 50 influence to double praise, or 120 to triple praise, I think? I think it goes 10, 40, 70. So we won't really be able to make friends with them anyway, but we can start working on them at least. Get some idea what's going on. And having knowledge of our options is always valuable. Oh, alright, we're headed toward another minor faction anyway. I guess we're closer to the center of the galaxy than we often start on these spiral things, and the minor factions do tend to be clustered around the middle. So what do we have here? Amoeba. Okay, so they're temperate. We have a little bit of approval with them already. A little unfortunate, because it drives up the cost of praising. Oh, wow. Okay, apparently we didn't need to do a lot of praising. We're going to be able to get a lot of work done here, just via searching their curiosities. So it's all life forms. Weird. What do we find there? Blue cap? Okay. Blue cap and potatoes. There's a lot of purely negative anomalies in this system. Yeah, not a great system, actually, overall. Right, extra vision range for our fleet. You can see our vision bubble has expanded slightly. Alright, we're getting paid now by the sowers, and Cetus has become a pirate world. Well, we are already building our working toward our combat ships technology, which it turns out is going to be really important. We're probably just going to hover here for quite a long time, exploring curiosities. So yeah, I was going to say, our approval level should be pretty high for a little while because we just colonized a new system. We'll keep that law running because it's going to help us build out Arcturus and then help us get some benefit from having done so. Yeah, deserted cities and strange fossils. This is a good pair of anomalies. That's worth spending some Hyperium on, given that we don't actually have a use for our Hyperium just yet. Alright, the third point of Riftborn population is 250, which means that it is based on the number of Riftborn in the system, not the number of total population in the system, because we saw a cost of 250 in our home system when we had 2 Riftborn and 1 Epistis. So, a good thing to know, a good thing to have settled. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the drone network. To be clear, it would have been more industry to get the drone network established first instead of the Riftborn population, but we're still at a point in the game where small amounts of dust and science are really significant. In particular, I wanted to boost our research output. So the extra point of Riftborn population was a nice way of sort of splitting the wickets there. Splitting the wickets here used as though it is a good thing. Alright, so we discovered Pulsos over here. I'm pretty happy about that. I like Pulsos a lot. Yeah, industry and science on a population is pretty useful. I guess let's start with the praising. We need to get over here as well. They have 3 curiosities on a single planet. We're probably going to need free space. I'm guessing that their constellation doesn't connect to ours. Yeah, I guess just stay the course for the moment. We're going to have to figure out what we want to do with our population pretty soon. We need system developments too, because we need to be able to shuttle people around. Population management without spaceports is basically impossible. Use more scout ships. I mean, we need a lot of stuff. Alright, so eukaryotic sap should push us over. This becomes 10% dust. We probably do want this, but I don't know that we want it right now. A percentage boost on the values we have currently I don't think are super relevant, but more industry is always super relevant. And we're not that far off of having another Epistus born. I think it's fine. Epistus are okay. Probably at some point we kick them all out of the home system. Alright, so next turn we're going to be able to start construction on a new colony on Primus 2. So that's something we probably want to do. Do I want to... This will be 20 industry after we've expanded. Yeah, at 280 versus a 350 Riftborn population. I guess this is also a pretty valuable thing to pick up, but doing this and then immediately grabbing another planet with it seems like the right play. Alright, even more blue cap. Well, blue cap's not a bad system booster. Something tells me we might be looking at a pirate world at the end of this star lane. I was gonna grab Cetus next too. It's unfortunate that the pirates are just unfortunate. They're always unfortunate. It always sucks for us that there are pirates. Okay, now we're working toward our election goals. Explore some atmospheric curiosities. I will do my best. Are we one turn away from these guys? Yeah, alright. It's going to be a while on the amoebas. We can probably pick up a couple of minor faction systems really, really quickly here. Alright, and then here... This is still 10 industry, which is still twice as much as we get from a Riftborn population, but I think it may be the case that the same argument applies here as applied to building the first Riftborn population over the drone network, which is that the science and the dust are valuable enough to offset the lost industry. I don't know, our rate of research actually has gotten a little bit better. I think we can afford to focus on industry a little bit more now. We have another colonizable planet there. Let's just go ahead and throw Primus 2 into the queue, because we know that's what we want to do next. I should probably just, like, sit down off camera with this stuff and really figure out the math. No curiosities in this system. That suggests to me that somebody else has been here. It may not be the case. It may just be that there weren't any. But I don't trust that. Let's see if we can gather ourselves some information about these star lanes before we have to make a move next turn. And also, let's see if this will be easy. Assign a hero to a fleet, then send the fleet to Acellus and have it orbit for 6 turns. That sucks. That one's a real bummer, having to lose your hero. I mean, I guess we should do it, because it's another whole system and a new population type. But, yeah, it sucks that we have to spend our hero for 8 turns doing that. Because it's not just going to be the 6 turns, right? It's until the assignment cooldown wears off. Alright, well, we're going to need to produce a ship, or we're going to need to bring back the scout ship. I guess producing another scout is not a bad play. I think we do want to wait until this is done, though. They'll grow alright without us for a little while. Oh, you know what? I wasn't even thinking about this. I was thinking we're going to run out all of our probes, so we won't have any movement left. But that's right. 2 probes isn't all of this ship's probes, so I didn't actually spend all my movement. So actually, the more efficient thing to do here would probably have been to fire a probe down this star lane, and then the other probe just off in a random direction, and have the ship move this way, since we know there's a thing not too far away. Well, I'm going to end the turn with some movement left, because I think this probe might reveal this system. We get a little bit of information. Alright, do they have curiosities? They do. Alright, we should go this way. Sorry, we should retreat and see what comes of that. Okay, inconvenient. So, some Epistis. Well, we really did hit the jackpot with the minor factions. So I think Xenology makes even more sense here, because a lot of influence production is going to put us in a good place to make a lot of friends very quickly. Also, we have control over the constellation. We did expand pretty quickly this time. Alright, we hit 50 with the amoebas. What do you guys want? Protecting the amoeba's prototype craft shouldn't be too difficult. They've given us a ship. Interesting. Well, let's move their ship down to here, and we will merge our hero ship with it. So it is a missile ship with not very good stats. We have to ensure that it doesn't get blown up by pirates. It still probably makes sense to build this thing, I guess. No, you know what? We're 2 turns away from having efficient shielding. We'll build a proper military ship to protect it. So... Oh, I totally forgot about Singularities. We haven't been building Singularities at all. Well, you know what? Actually, we just hit the amount of titanium necessary to build our first one. So this is another thing of Riftborn, is that you get these the ability to manipulate time in the form of Singularities that you build and then place on systems to do things. So plus 25% all resource outputs seems pretty okay. And I think we burn the smallest amount of actual system time by building it in Arcturus, because Arcturus is the least developed of our systems. We're burning the fewest points of total resources here. Yeah, they cost dust and also strategic resources, so this is actually the first turn we could have built one. Due to not really finding that much early game titanium. Oh, also, we should probably specialize our planets. Small amounts of influence are actually very significant here this early in the game, but we after we get this, let's see, we have a cold, sterile world, just a wonderful place to live, really. We need to make that happen eventually, but it's going to be 640 industry, so we have some other stuff we need to do first. Honestly, given the total dearth of industry here, yeah, let's go ahead and do the drone networks before the first point of Riftborn population that we build. Okay, we will make it just past Pirate World before we stop. Okay, that's not great. I may have the Endeavor travel to here. Let's not stop on Acellus, because I think that pirate ship is probably going to stop on Acellus. And let's throw this thing up in our pins so that we can watch the timer. Okay, yeah, we really, really, really need influence. So we have 3 turns left on this praise, and when it wears off, we'll be able to praise again for the lower cost. Oh, yeah, sure, I should probably, actually... There we go. So the Singularity dramatically increases influence gathering, or resource output, rather. And doubles hero experience, doubles recovery rate, it just makes time run faster on the system. It's pretty extremely powerful. So next turn we'll queue up our first warship. We have a republic right now, so we have 2 parties in the government. I think, given our situation, it might be better for us to try to support the pacifists. I don't know that we're getting a lot of value out of the ecologists in the government. Well, we won't get a lot of value out of having the pacifists around at first either. But we could try to build up to some of the later really powerful pacifist peace laws. Yeah, let's throw our support behind the pacifists here. Okay, that worked out pretty well. I definitely want to keep the industrialists in power because I do like their initial law, which is just giving us dust all the time. Alright, yeah, just fly right past. I don't believe the pirates and the minor faction populations fight, which is ridiculous. Obviously they should. Do we? No, we don't still have vision of that pirate ship. That's a shame. It would be nice to see what their weapon systems are. So we gained an extra law slot due to picking up another tier of... Ooh, wow. Plus 15% industry per strategic deposit is really significant for us. But we cannot afford to run this law. We could run Trusted Broker, which, as long as you keep it in your government, slowly builds a reduction in diplomatic costs, but it would make us negative on influence, thus unable to use the reduction because we wouldn't be able to pay for any amount of costs. I guess we're about to gain 7 more influence per turn. But would I be better off just banking the influence? Yeah, I probably would, right? Because we're not just thinking about paying costs on this stuff. We're thinking about banking influence for the government switch that is eventually going to happen. Okay, so we do need this. I want National Museum quickly. It's only 7 turns to get. Yeah, that's not too bad, actually. We also need to get this going. The only luxury resource we're actually getting right now is Red Sang, which is kind of unfortunate. Yeah, we'll worry about system developments later. Let's go straight to xenoanthropology right now. So we'll be able to initiate a change of government somewhat soon. Maybe before, or early enough, by turn 35 would be cool. Because then we could get the change of government election and then get the next real election right afterward, and then change our government back after that. And that might be enough elections right there. It might take 1 more. I don't know, but we can get access to those really powerful laws sooner this way. Oh, I forgot to queue up. Well, whatever. We got industry rollover. It doesn't actually change anything to have queued up the warship this turn instead of next turn. Do we want people on this planet? I guess it doesn't really matter. There's no industry on this planet. Never mind, it totally matters. That industry is serious. We're still devoted over the entire empire. I guess we're losing influence by having this place be... Oh, we're actually not. Wait, it goes from plus 10% influence to plus 25%, and that doesn't change our influence output at all? Weird. Well, in that case, I mean, keep the industry up. Alright, so the next thing we need to build here is a a proper defensive vessel. So probably a Cypher rather than a Phantom, right? Something that a pirate ship would shoot at instead of shooting at the ship we're trying to protect. So 25 DPS versus 13. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. I guess ion torpedoes are the way we go for maximum safety. Except that pirate ships are missile ships about half the time. And so bullet weapons do a good job of defending us while killing stuff. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And we can leave the rest of this in place, I guess. Yeah, we have a support slot here that's not, like, super valuable. Boy, that really increases the construction cost of this ship. Here, we'll put out a pair of ciphers. We'll merge them up with the Endeavor, and then we'll have those ships... We'll pop our hero onto that fleet while it's here. We'll take it up to Acellus, and we'll have it hover there. That should keep it alive long enough with all the defense and everything. And I've been attacked by the Epistis fleet. That seems unnecessary. Shoot, so I'm gonna die. Yeah, there's no way I survived the battle. Well, crap. That's annoying. So we do need a scout ship here after all. I guess we may as well just make one of these a scout ship. Yeah, the one cipher will do a good enough job protecting us. Because there's a minor faction influence bubble now that we can see over here. So we definitely want to at least send a probe out that way. Okay, so this isn't any good here. Honestly, I think we probably focus on Riftborn population a little bit. I guess 15 science is a lot for only 160 industry, and then more Riftborn. Here, once we have this done, it's probably public-private partnerships, because now this is 20 science. No, sorry. It's cerebral reality for sure. And Arcturus is still working on important stuff. Alright, we're still one turn off of the praise wearing off here. It is a little bit of a shame that we got some very, very slow to complete minor faction quests off of our first couple of minors. Alright, so let's merge these guys up, assign our hero. We'll send out the probe from Acellus. And we are not going into guard mode on Acellus. We don't want the pirates to stop if they don't, you know, if they're willing to just move on through, we should let them just move on through. Alright, so here we can do another praise. This one will get us to, in 10 turns, will get us to 60, so yeah, we'll be past the threshold for assisting. Here, we still have 5 turns left on our praise, although we actually have industry, or influence income now. So we'll be able to set up another praise faster than that if we want to. It might be worth letting the cost go down. Alright, so we need to establish more titanium mining. We need to get Sidus for that reason. If for no other reason. This would have been cool to participate in, but we did not find any atmospheric curiosities on the way. Ooh, okay, this is interesting. I assume that our approval is still pretty high. Oh no, the new colony bill boost wore off. Does it say that it works when acquiring by invasion or through completion of an outpost? So it doesn't say that it works on systems that you acquire through completing minor faction quests. So maybe we cut this. Maybe it's not worth running a law that has a cost for that little benefit. And now we are positive enough that we could be running the Mineral Misers Act. That would be plus 45% industry on Primus. Yeah, we should do that. And it actually does get us more titanium as well. Alright, so we'll run it like that. We're going to keep gaining influence output. We'll be okay. I should probably get a colony ship going. I guess we maybe do want to run both of the industrialist laws, because we should go get Chang, right? Okay, so we just have to sit here for 6 turns. What random tech did we get? It looks like we got this one. That's not amazing. To be perfectly honest, I'm pretty bummed out about that. Send a probe over here, and then I guess just man them out. Oh, that's right, our hero ship still has probes too. Alright, so in 6 turns we'll get Acellus, we'll be 4 turns off of getting Pixis. It looks like we're not competing with any other players for this stuff. And I think this should be enough ships to keep the Endeavor pretty safe. Yeah, alright. We're developing. Definitely worth picking up public-private partnerships here. Infinite supermarkets. Honestly, let's grab a Geist. And then... do I want to get infinite supermarkets here? Our approval level right now is such that 10 extra approval is not actually going to be beneficial. We're probably better off just building more Riftborn pop. I guess we could make our approval level such that 10 approval is meaningful. But it's only really important if it's going to change the Empire's approval level, because we don't really care about the amount of food that it produces, and our total influence output is still low enough that those percentage bonuses are not really terribly valuable. We do have the option of building another Singularity. This one slows time on a system. Not, I think, a good use of our resources. We really want to focus on compression Singularities, at least until we meet another player. We could stunt the growth of a minor faction out of spite. It doesn't seem like a great play, but I guess it's available to us. 10 turns, keep Gobris clear of enemy ships. Yeah, that seems like a thing that might occur. Alright, so we're 2 turns off of this praise wearing off. We don't need to touch them again. Yeah, we're just waiting. Just a lot of waiting. I don't even know for sure that Chang is useful. We have a battle going on here where we are not expected to win. Oh, because they have developed a medium. Wait a second. Who is this? Because this is not sowers. The sower ships are marked as being sowers. Huh. Well, I guess we'd better retreat. Yeah, there's just a mystery fleet of mercenary killers showed up. Do these have to be... okay, it looks like they do not have to be consecutive. So once we get to Primus, we'll send a probe up this star lane and see if that fleet has moved away yet. Yeah, I would love to know whose ships those were. Alright, well, let's introduce ourselves. I don't think that this is a particularly good minor faction, but we may as well start currying favor. Yeah, we really, really want to move some population over here. So it's probably worth it to grab Xeno-Industrial Infrastructure for the 10 industry. Right now, we really need to focus on industry output in this system. We need to get ourselves to a point where this is a reasonable thing to do. I guess I shouldn't leave that in the queue there, because I will forget. Okay, and now that we have Xenoanthropology, our focus has to be on, first of all, putting all of this dust to some use, probably through multi-thread management, although access to the marketplace might also be good. Man, the unique version of this this unique improvement that they have is really powerful. 5 extra dust for every Riftborn in the system. Yeah, we're definitely going to want to jettison the organic population from here to somewhere else. Probably to Arcturus, right? As soon as we have the planetary space to hold them all. And over here on Gobris... Yep, probably just keep producing Riftborn, honestly. We probably want to hold titanium off. Like, we want to just use titanium for compression, singularities. And at this point, we are actually at 0 influence. So we have the ability to switch our government. It will cost us at least 300 influence to do so, probably more, actually, by the time we get to do it. So we need to be gaining influence, which means we probably need to drop this, which is a real shame, because this is producing a lot of extra influence for us. But we're working toward having even more influence. Let's drop this for the moment. Do we want to run any of the free laws? Probably not. 30 influence on systems would be some extra, or 30 approval on systems would probably be some extra influence, but not very much. Yeah, let's just leave the government empty. It might not be worth going for this, but that top tier industrialist law is really powerful. We are not going to hit enough influence by turn 28, or by turn 35, unless we do something pretty drastic. And we're not currently happy enough to actually take advantage of the National Museum at all. Yeah, so we might be able to make our first government change sometime after the next election, the next natural election. But any amount that we can speed up the production of this law, you know what I mean. Speed up how quickly we get this law is valuable. I guess what I don't have a good grasp of, though, let's do this, and I guess spend a bunch of dust repairing these ships so that we know this thing won't get busted up. What we don't really have a good grasp of, I guess, is how much influence we are losing by not running that law versus how much we're gaining by getting earlier access to the top-tier industrialist law. Like, there's a value function that describes the trade-off we're making here, and I maybe need to actually figure out what it is. Or at least, napkin math myself a good estimate. So actually, I know this is going to be a little bit short, but I think this is where we're going to call it for today. I'm going to just try to roughly math out what I estimate the influence gain and loss of those two things is, because not having the extra considerable amount of industry on Primus right now is going to slow down our production of Riftborn, which is going to have long-term effects on both our science and industry output. So I think this is worth actually figuring out. So I'm going to call it here. That's where we're going to stop for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time for math. I'm going to explain all my math to you. Doesn't that sound exciting? And we'll see you then.